It's time for your daily LSU baseball update with Musso at the box. Now, Matt Musso.
Off and running. Welcome in another edition of Musso at the Box, presented by Gotlit Light Installers. Fired up to have you along for the ride today. Jam-packed show. LSU, they kick off the second half of SEC play. They welcome in Alabama. The Crimson Tide coming in, still ranked in the top 25, but hanging on by a thread. Very interesting team, kind of a tale of two seasons for the Tide that we will get into here. Series Thursday, Friday, Saturday. First pitch on Thursday, 7 p.m., 6 o'clock on Friday, and then 5 p.m. on Saturday. A couple of national television games in there as well on Thursday and Saturday. So there's plenty to go through, both looking at Alabama, how they match up with LSU, some success that LSU has had in the past against current players on Alabama's team, as well as keys that we just want to see, not necessarily keys, things we want to see from LSU as they enter back into conference play after a clunker a weekend ago on the plane. So smash the like button if you have not already. Please get subscribed to the show if you have not already, both on the YouTube channel and on your favorite podcast app. Just search Musso at the Box. Subscribe, take the show with you wherever you go. And that is greatly appreciated. All right. Let's not delay any further. Let's go ahead and dive right in. Series overview. We'll start there. Alabama, they come in. They come into this one 30-8 overall on the season. They won their last game out. They are 8-7 in conference play. They have dropped back-to-back series. One on the road at Auburn last week, at home against Mississippi State. Now they will travel into Baton Rouge. Statistically on the season, Alabama's been a very good away team, 6-2 in legit true road games. Offensively overall on the year, they hit 291 as a club, 61 homers on the season for Bama. Of course, paced by Justin LeBron, who we will talk plenty about, and they averaged 7 runs per game. On the mound overall for the season, Alabama, pitches to an ERA of 4.64 as a team. They have punched out 340 and 330 innings pitched. The opponent hitting just 249 off the Tide cumulatively over the course of the full season. They field 979. Mentioned kind of a tale of two seasons. Rob Vaughn, his second year at the helm over there in Tuscaloosa, really good coach. Big fan of Coach Vaughn. I mean, what he was able to do at Maryland, turn that into a regional host, that's impressive. And I expect him to have a lot of success here at Alabama. I think he is one of the best young coaches kind of in college baseball. What's been interesting is him kind of trying to find his way in the SEC. In Alabama, they got off to a fantastic start here in 2024, kind of breezed through their non-conference as the majority of the SEC did. They opened up conference play with A&M when A&M was struggling. They swept that one. They took the first game of the series off of Tennessee, lost by 3 the next night, and then the Vols pulled away. But that was Tennessee's second loss of the season that they hung on them. And then they were able to take 2 out of 3 from Oklahoma. Since that Oklahoma series, though, that's when it's kind of fallen on hard times. Why, you might ask? Well, the bullpen depth is still there, but you're not getting the production that you needed to there. And the offense in general, once they got into SEC play, really started to hit the skids. That has continued. And now you factor in some lackluster starting pitching, the bullpen depth not performing up to expectations, and you find Alabama in the situation that they are in. Alabama, in their last 6 SEC games, told you they're averaging 7 runs per game cumulative on the season. In cumulative SEC, it's 4 runs per game. In their last 6 SEC games, so the last 2 series, it is 3 runs per game. They've gotten run ruled twice. It's been rough. So you factor that in again, like I said, with a bullpen that's given up 18 earned runs over the course of the last 2 SEC weekends as well. And that's kind of where you fall on some hard times. And you look at a team like Mississippi State. Oh my God, how can they lose to Mississippi State? Remember, Mississippi State's a talented team. They're a good team. And I'm curious. Actually, one of the teams I'm curious to watch down the back half of the season, see if that series doesn't jumpstart them. That's a big series on the road for State. So that's really why Alabama finds themselves in the position that they are in. When you look at the last meeting, Alabama took 2 of 3 in Tuscaloosa a year ago. It was a series that LSU should have won. LSU was up 4 runs in the 8th inning on Friday night and gagged away that game. And then they beat Alabama on Saturday before dropping the finale. So if you don't gag away a 4-run lead in the 8th inning, 8th and 9th innings, you take the series on the road. LSU has been a very good home team so far this year, specifically in conference play. We can get in a little bit more on that. That is kind of your series overview. Now we can go ahead and dive in a little bit deeper. And of course, let's start with our starting pitching matchups, shall we? LSU will send Cade Anderson to the bump on Thursday night. I'm assuming, I don't think they would. I mean, they did it already once this year, twice this year, really, but once when you thought, okay, maybe they don't. He'll be on a shorter day rest. I'm expecting him to go Thursday night. It'll be appearance 10, start 10. He is 6-1, a 3.48 ERA, 51 2/3 innings pitched, 13 walks, 81 strikeouts. Getting the 81 strikeouts, top 5 in the nation and in the SEC. The opponent hitting just 220. Cade Anderson pitched better than his line indicated a week ago. He did not get help in the field. The ball that Frelick hit early in that game was a great piece of hitting by Frelick to go down and get it. Curry had a hard time reading it off the bat. Started in, had to go back, couldn't get to it. It drops in, that scores runs. Then later in the game, you had the ground ball double play ball to Reeves. It got through his legs. That would have ended the inning, and ultimately that became Auburn's big inning in the game. Anderson pitched much better than his line indicated. He was sharp. The velo was there. The command was there. I mean, he was awesome in all those regards on the extra day rest after that 135 pitch first game. Now with complete game, now with him coming back, shorter rest, 1 day short rest, I'm going to want to see where the velo is, how sharp is he? Because remember, against Mississippi State, he was not sharp. And that was the first time he pitched on short rest this season. This would be the second. What kind of adjustments has LSU made in recovery and things of that nature to maybe have him a little bit better prepared for that outing? So that is chief among things I want to see from Cade Anderson. I'm expecting if he's all good to go, if he's sharp and things of that nature, and he's recovered well and he's ready to go on short rest, I'm expecting a much better outing from Anderson. Because, again, you have an Alabama offense that's scuffling. You're back in your home ballpark where you know how that outfield plays, and outfield defense shouldn't be an issue. And it looks like they're leaning towards Michael Braswell a little bit more. We'll get an answer on that Thursday night. On an answer on that Friday night when they have a righty on the mound. But if Braswell's in there, I trust your infield defense tenfold. Like, that's just – I'm not even really concerned. So I'm expecting a much better outing from Cade Anderson. For Alabama, it will be a familiar name, one that LSU saw a year ago, or at least I'm assuming that it will be a familiar name and one a year saw ago. Zane Adams is a sophomore lefty. LSU, he's been the Friday night guy all year. We'll see if they move him up, if they want to keep him on his normal rest. LSU saw him a year ago in this series up in Tuscaloosa. For what it's worth, Adams has struggled here as of late for the Crimson Tide. When you look at the numbers in those 9 starts, he's 4-2, but the ERA is north of 6 cumulative on the season, 6.18, 39 1/3 innings pitched. He's walked 14, struck out 38. That's a big improvement for him a year ago in the walk department. So it's in the zone. The problem is when it's been in the zone is it's been hit. The opponent is hitting 297 off of Zane Adams. He is not your typical traditional Friday night arm that you want to see in the SEC. It's going to come from the left side. You can probably tell by the strikeout numbers. It's not overpowering. The fastball is going to be about 89, 91 from the left side. His best pitch is a big overhand curveball from the left side. It's got a lot of depth to it. A very, very, very good pitch from Zane Adams. If he can get to that pitch, it has put away potential. We talked about it plenty a year ago when LSU faced off against him in game number 2 of that series. LSU a year ago, game 2, saw Zane Adams, as just said, they got 3 earned runs off of him on 6 hits in 5 1/3. They had plenty of success. And he was having a much better season a year ago than he is right now. So it's in there. Like, he's capable. But it has just been a major struggle. And when you look at his numbers just in conference play right now, Zane Adams has an ERA north of 8.5 and is 1-2. Alabama has been run ruled in his last 2 starts. This is a massive opportunity for LSU to carry over the offensive performance that they had Tuesday against McNeese into this game and get after Zane Adams. Like, this is a very, very gettable pitcher this season for LSU, and you already had success against him a year ago with a lesser offense when he was having a better season. I look at game 1, advantage squarely sits with LSU. Let me remind you about Got Lit Light installers. We'll get to the rest of the pitching matchups. GotLitLights.com. Go there for your free quote. Work with Derek and his team. Learn what they can do for you. If you want to illuminate your outdoor space, take it to the next level. Front yard or backyard, commercial or residential. Maybe you want to illuminate kind of the front of your work building, or if you're at home, your backyard patio pool area, your front flower beds. Custom design, installation, Got Lit Light installers, permanent outdoor landscape lighting, and of course, their private event lighting. Any temporary outdoor lighting that you may need, that's also custom design, cut to fit, install, maintain, tear down, storage, just like with the Christmas lights, wedding reception, wedding, just a wedding in general, anniversary party, graduation parties are coming up. Got Lit Light installers, GotLitLights.com, and tell them you heard it right here on Musso at the Box. Game number 2, Anthony Ianson getting the ball for LSU is what we are all widely assuming. Start 10, appearance 10, 5-1, coming off of his first loss as well. 3.78 ERA, 47 2/3, 16 walks, 71 punch-outs, 228 opponent batting average against. He's in the zone. It got away from him a little bit in that 4th inning against Auburn. Second trip through the lineup, but then again, he also didn't have the best fortune there either. A couple more misplays in the outfield. Otherwise, you take 2 runs off the board. He's through 4 shutout, and you get him into into that 5th inning. So, I'm looking for Ianson to have a little bit of a bounce back, but I mean, he could not have started that game any better, and he has been pitching much, much better as of late. Like, he's really kind of start to come on for LSU, but a slight bounce back that he will need. If he's in the zone, if he can be consistent with the breaking ball, really both of them, he has a great chance to get deep into this ball game against a talented Alabama lineup, but again, one that is scuffling. So again, you're back home in your own park. Outfield defense should not be an issue for LSU this weekend. For Alabama, this is where you see their best option in the starting rotation is in game number 2. Again, assuming they keep everything together. And that is big righty Riley Quick. Quick is a heck of a prospect. He's a junior. He's a redshirt sophomore. Stands 6'6" at 245. The fastball from the right side can get up to 99, 100 miles an hour. It'll sit, more around 94, 95, 96, but he can run it up 98, 99, 100. It's a big fastball, and it's a really tight breaking ball as well as his best secondary pitch. He'll mix in a couple more, but this is, again, their best option. 5-1, a 3.31 ERA, 32 innings, 31 2/3 innings pitched, 13 walks, 31 punch outs. The opponent hits just 232 off of Riley Quick. So there's been a couple of instances where he's been gettable. He's also their best performers from a starting standpoint in conference play. This is a power arm that you would normally see on a Friday night. You're probably going to see it in game 2, which I guess technically would be Friday night, but you get what you understand what I mean. This is top flight pitching. LSU's had some success against that. Frontline arms, LSU's had success against. They had success against Jared Spencer. They had success against Kyson Witherspoon. They had success against Pico Khan. You beat all 3 of those pitchers. So I like LSU's matchup against Riley Quick. I do. Because they've performed well against frontline arms more often than not here in the league. I mean, it's 3 out of 5 series. You've had plenty of success there. When you get to game number 3, expecting Chase Shores to go, unless LSU shuffles it, but I'm not expecting that. And again, I told you the option I thought would be most likely there would be William Schmidt. But he pitched and, got over 60 pitches in the midweek. You'll probably see him at the earliest on Saturday in relief of some part, but maybe, just maybe, LSU might shuffle. I'm not expecting it, so we'll go with Chase Shores. 5-2, a 5.12 ERA, 38 2/3 innings, 20 walks, 41 punch-outs. The opponent's hitting .291. That's just the thing. There's 2 things I want to see from Chase Shores when he pitches. I understand he's going to give up some contact, and that's fine. You throw a sinker, it's in the zone. Like, you throw that pitch to get contact. But it's also at 98 miles an hour. I want to see more swing and miss out of Chase Shores' stuff this weekend against Alabama. Obviously, I want to see the free passes dwindle down. That's just been a big issue for him so far this season. But I want to see swing and miss. I really do believe the slider has gotten better. But the sinker particularly needs more swing and miss on it. 291 average against is just too high. He put together 2 really nice outings against State and Oklahoma. And last week felt like a big step back. So you need another step forward from Shores, and I think it starts with more swing and miss. For Alabama, they just made a change in their rotation. Last week for the Mississippi State series, you saw Tyler Fay take over that spot. It was his first start of the season. Another big right-handed arm. He's got a bit of a funky delivery. 6'5", 215, kind of sidearm 3/4 delivery from Fay. You look at his outing from a week ago against Mississippi State, and hold on, I have to get to it. He went 3 1/3, so he didn't get out of the 4th, gave up 2 earned, only walked 1 and struck out 4. But you look at the pitch count was 50, so they're still expanding him out. I'm expecting him to get the ball again because Bobby Alcock, the guy who was in the role prior to Fay, started the midweek game and threw 73, 74 pitches. So I'm looking for Tyler Fay to kind of get this, the nod for Alabama there in game number 3, like he did a week ago. On the season, get you his numbers if they would ever load up again. On the season for Fay, 13 appearances, the 1 start. He's no decisions, a 4.98 ERA, 21 1/3 innings pitched. He has walked 6 and struck out 15. The opponent hits .281. If you want an idea of what he's done in conference play, it's been much more of a struggle, as you might imagine. Fay in 5 SEC games, including his 1 start as an ERA north of 10. So SEC teams are hitting .324. That's a spot that LSU really needs to have success again. So, I mean, when I just look at this series on the surface, 2 out of the 3 days, LSU should have plenty of offensive success against these Alabama pitchers. Those 2 guys in particular, Adams and Fay, have really, really struggled against conference opponents, and you're through a you're through 5 weeks. That's a nice sample size. This is the part of the season where I really like to lean into the conference only statistics. I love those matchups for LSU. We'll obviously see if the offense success you had against McNeese carries over. But if it does, LSU should have great success offensively in 2 out of the 3 days. And I don't hate their matchup with Riley Quick, as we just mentioned prior to that. All right. Let's talk a little bit about Alabama's bullpen, and then we'll get into the offense. Bama's pitching staff as a whole in SEC play, they just have not been great. It's an ERA just north of 6 as a staff in conference games only. When you look and the put away pitch hasn't been there for them either. Alabama has struck out 119 batters in SEC play. That is 15th in the SEC. And when you're facing a team like LSU that does not strike out a lot, last week notwithstanding, LSU, I believe, is the 3rd most difficult team in the league to strike out. That's not a great recipe there. So LSU, talking about keys to victory, which you want to see, don't expand the zone. Don't help them out. Because it's just not something they've excelled at here in conference play. And if you stay within your plan at the plate, stay in character, it looks much more like it did the first 4 weeks of the season in conference offensively and on Tuesday night against McNeese, where LSU is attacking with 2 strikes. They smash mistakes in the zone, specifically fastballs and advantage counts. They make their own fortune starting 2-out rallies and scoring with 2 outs. If you're doing that, you should have a lot of success against this Alabama pitching staff as a whole. Them not having to put away stuff, and again, just the total ERA, adding in their starters. When you look at their bullpen, Alabama is extremely deep in the bullpen. But as of late, it hasn't been awesome. So in the last 6 SEC games, Alabama's bullpen has been relied on for 30 innings of relief. They have allowed 34 hits, 18 earned runs, walked 14, struck out 27. So there you go. I mean, everything we just laid out. The walk number, not terrible. But you have less strikeouts than innings pitched, and you've given up 18 earned runs. Now, that's not to say they don't have some really nice arms in the bullpen. Of course they do. And it starts with their closer, Carson Osmer. Sidearm guy, not overpowering, but has 19 appearances on the season, 12 saves. That leads the SEC and is close to tops in the country. It might be tops in the country. And a 1.13 ERA. Nothing straight. Again, sidearm delivery. It's funky. 1.59 ERA. He did pitch Tuesday night to close out the win against UAB, but he threw 20 pitches. He'll have the day off. He's good to go on Thursday. That is somebody that they will pitch twice in a weekend. And when you look at his conference statistics, he's been, I mean, he's really been just as good. It's a sub-2 ERA again, 4 saves. Like, that is the crown jewel in their pen. And it is their closer, Carson Osmer. He's been awesome. Braylon Myers is another one. 14 appearances so far on the season. A 2.92 ERA. He has been very good. A little bit more overpowering of an arm for Auburn is Myers with the 31 strikeouts in 28 innings. Big righty, 6'2", kind of a stock guy. He has been successful both, again, overall and in conference play. You look at his numbers just in conference play for Myers, and that is, their website's moving slow. I apologize. I should have wrote this down because I looked at it earlier. A 3.8 ERA so far in conference with 6 appearances. Those 6 appearances have him 3rd on the team in conference play. The other guy is Matthew Heiberger. Heiberger is leading this Alabama team in appearances in conference play with 8. He's a lefty. They will use him in multiple inning stints without hesitation. That is a guy who they can get some long middle relief out of, but also towards the back end of your bullpen if a guy like Osmer is not available. He's obviously been successful in conference play as well. Overall in the year, it's a 3.6 ERA. So they have guys, but as of late, the bullpen production, even with the depth, it just hasn't been up to par. But there is talent and potential there. So if they come in and have good outings against LSU, do not be surprised. But the way they are trending, it's been rough the last 6 games within the SEC. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention Hagen Banks. Hagen Banks, 10 appearances, and a 1.35 ERA so far for Alabama. In conference, it's still sub 3. So he's also been very good. Those are the 4 that I would give you. But keep in mind, again, 30 innings pitched, 34 hits, 18 earned runs, 27 punch-outs in their last 6 games out of the bullpen. Shot for LSU to have some success. All right. Get your thought on Alabama's offense, and then we can kind of wrap up with some final thoughts and a series prediction. The Tide's offense, everyone's going to talk immediately about Justin LeBron, and yeah, I get it. You should. He's been incredible so far for Alabama on the season. LeBron's going to hit 2-hole for them, so they'll get him as many at-bats as they possibly can. He's at 333. He leads Alabama with 15 homers, 58 RBI over at shortstop. He's plenty capable over there as well as a fielder, fielding 975 on the season at shortstop by himself. He's a legit 5-tool player. He's awesome, and he is the one guy in the Bama lineup that you cannot let beat you. They have great protection all around him. The top 4 in this Bama lineup really stand out. Your leadoff hitter is Richie Bonamolo. He transferred in from Wabash Valley Community College. He's hitting 333 out of that leadoff spot. He's got a little bit of pop with the 4 homers, 30 RBI as well. So you can see, all right, they've kind of, set the table for him a little bit at times at the bottom of the order. He's going to hit in front of LeBron in that leadoff spot. Cade Snell is the leading hitter for Alabama, 365 on the season. He's got some pop as well with 5 home runs. He's the protection for LeBron behind him. And then when you add in Jason Torres, a transfer from the University of Miami in his first year in Tuscaloosa, he's at 293, 8 homers. That's tied for second on the ball club, and 32 RBI, which is third on this Alabama team as well. Those are going to be the top 4 in the lineup, and it is very, very formidable. In the 6th hole, you'll see Will Hodo, who's hitting 296 overall in the season. Overall in the season. He also 8 home runs, tying him for second on the team. Big left-handed bat. But there are some holes in this Bama lineup. There are some holes. Bryce Fowler, while he's driven in plenty of runs, he's hitting just 259. You'll normally see him in the 5-hole. Former Tiger Brady Neal, who's got 22 appearances and 22 starts, is hitting 206 overall. Brennan Norton, that's Alabama's second baseman. He's played in all 32 games, 224. The bottom of the lineup, there are some holes down there. They got some other guys they can put in there. Will Plattner's the other catcher. He's hitting 304 in limited duty, in split time, right? Garrett Staton is hitting 293. But it's not deep 1 through 9 like you saw at Auburn. And I went through it that way before going through it this way. In conference play, Alabama's numbers take a massive hit offensively. Alabama is hitting 239 as a team in conference play. That is 15th out of 16 teams in the league. You can really go look at any offensive category you want in conference only, and you will find Alabama near the bottom. Slugging percentage, they're 13th. On base percentage, 15th. Runs scored, 14th. Like, I can go on, but I think you kind of get the picture there. Some of those guys we just talked about who are hitting the heck out of the baseball, some of that carries over into conference play, others it doesn't. Cade Snell, he's crushing the ball in SEC play. Justin LeBron, he's crushing the ball in SEC play. Will Platner, the platoon catcher, he's doing pretty well. 310 and 30, 313 and 32 at bats in conference play. Then you look at Jason Torres, 236. Bryce Fowler, who's hitting 259 overall, 211. Will Hodo, who's right under 300 on the season, is below the Mendoza line in conference play. I'm very encouraged. And this is where we just start getting into keys to victory and why I like LSU so much in this weekend. And I do. I like LSU a lot here. And that's one of the reasons. Because what we've seen as of late from LSU's pitching staff is they are certainly turning a corner. And I will remind you, a year ago, it was at this time where they did the same thing. And that's what ultimately flipped the switch for LSU down the back half of SEC play and allowed them to, win 4 out of their last 5 series, have a sweep in there, get to 13 conference wins, and get into the NCAA tournament rather comfortably as a 2 seed. And it looks as though that's happening now. The only difference is you're playing for so much more than just an NCAA tournament berth. But with the corner that you are starting to turn, not just in the rotation, but in the bullpen with guys like Maverick Rizzi and Connor Binge, adding that in with Cowan and Evans, and if you can get William Schmidt some time on the weekend, Jaden Newt, you've seen some nice things from him. Facing a lineup that is struggling as mightily as this one has in conference play, that feels like a big advantage to LSU. I've already talked throughout the show what I like about them offensively, but here you go. It has to carry over. LSU got back to their old selves Tuesday night against McNeese. That's great. Go do it against Alabama. A very deep and talented pitching staff that is struggling right now. 2 of the 3 starters have struggled mightily in conference play. Get to them early, knock them out of the game, and get into that Alabama bullpen early. And see if you can't rack up some offense in this weekend. Now, to do that, stay within character. Hard, not far. You do that, you'll hit some home runs too. Don't expand the zone. Simple game, right? Swing at the good ones, let the bad ones go by. Obviously, I say that tongue in cheek. I know it's much more difficult than that. Don't expand the zone. Shorten up 2 strikes. Hit the ball on the line. Look for that equitable out distribution that you saw against McNeese. 8 flyouts, 8 groundouts, 4 strikeouts. That'll tell you how good LSU's offense is going. That is what it should look like when they're in character. I'm curious to see what they do with the lineup. If they run it back the way it worked so well against McNeese, why not? You have a lefty on the mound in game number 1, assuming. Again, at the time of this recording, we don't have official pitching announcements yet. Jay's going to meet with the media later on Wednesday. But that's a great spot for Fry in at DH. And as your cleanup guy, you could keep Dickinson in that leadoff spot. And if Fry's hitting the way he can, he leads LSU's team in average with runners in scoring position. That's great protection to still have behind Jared Jones. So I'm curious to see if they just run that back. But can it carry over? They stay within themselves? Yeah. This is an Alabama team that feels like they're licking their wounds a little bit. And because of that, this is an absolutely massive opportunity for LSU. LSU has been unbeatable at home in conference play. Literally. They are 6-0. They swept Missouri. They swept Mississippi State. You have been awesome at home. Competition be damned. The Box is one hell of a home field advantage. We all know that. They count. Massive opportunity for LSU to get back what they lost a weekend ago. And that is a little bit more of a cushion in conference play. Y'all know me. I do not predict sweeps. I will take LSU 2 out of 3 in this weekend, which would be great. And that gets you right back. It keeps you on pace for 20-10, which is where you want to be. But I like LSU a lot this weekend against Alabama. You know, we'll have you covered throughout the entirety of the series. Live reactions, of course, our full weekend recap, things of that nature. That's probably going to drop on Easter Sunday, earlier in the morning as well. So just be on the lookout for that there. And of course, all of our live streams and whatnot after the game as well. Subscribe, share, follow on social media, smash the like button, go to gotlitlights.com, and be here next time for more on Musso at the Box.